What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the workshop. Hope you're all keeping well. Now, I'm getting into a bit of wood carving, so I'm doing a little bit of practice, and I thought I would share that process with you guys. I would like to add some wood carving and some floral patterns and decorative details to some of my projects, and it's a skill that I always wanted to develop. I had in the past tried a little bit of Celtic knotwork to varying degrees of success. I've bought some new tools for carving. I'm a little bit disappointed in them, so I will run through that in this video as well. And I've made a couple of attempts at carving a flower, so I'm going to have another go at carving a flower in this video. It will be attempt number 3. Hopefully we can make it better than number 1 and number 2. So I'll show you guys that in this video as well, and hopefully you will find it interesting. So without further ado, let's jump in. I'll show you the tools that I bought, and I can tell you why I'm a little bit disappointed. Okay, so here's my carving tools, and I would have showed this set before on my channel. I have this one with a few years. This is a 2 cherry set. Again, 2 cherries are not cheap. I don't know if are they the best carving tools out there. So if there's any wood carvers actually watching this video, I would really like your advice. Where do you guys spend your money? What tools do you recommend? I bought this 2 cherry set. Now, it's not ideal for doing this type of carving, which is the kind of more style I want to get into, because it doesn't have enough gouge sizes, which I've quickly realised you do need multiple sizes of gouges. But as well as that, where is it there? It's the chisel. The corner broke off the chisel that came with it. And it wasn't just the chisel, but also the skew chisel in this 2 cherry set as well. The corner broke off that, so both tools, when I was using it, the corner broke off them. And again, 2 cherries aren't cheap, so I have to regrind that one. But I don't know if the camera will focus on that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You can see the corner broke off the chisel as well, so that's a little bit disappointing, and they've got very, very little use because I haven't done a whole lot of carving. So then I went out and I purchased some Narex chisels. Again, they weren't cheap. Nothing is cheap anymore, which is a real problem. Inexpensive tools are no longer inexpensive. So for this basic little set, it cost me about 120 euros delivered. And I have to say, on inspection, they look kind of cheap indeed. They're not sharp. I don't mind tools not coming sharp out of the box, because you have to hone all tools, even expensive tools, to really get a polished edge on them. You have to put a bit of work into them. So that wasn't a big deal. But with the large gouge, with first use, it rolled the corner. So the corner rolled in and left me with a pitch that I had to I could catch on with my nail here. So that, again, disappointing. So I had to regrind the 20mm gouge, which is a number 7. So yeah, a little bit disappointed in that. Again, these cost me 120 euros, and they're not great, I have to say. Like I said, these are the Narex ones. So that's the tools I'm using, and I've quickly realised that in order to carve or to get any kind of good results out of what you're trying to carve, to get a really clean look, they must be razor sharp and have a highly polished edge. So yeah, you're at nothing really without really, really sharp tools. So I feel like I may have wasted 120 euros, and I think I paid nearly 300 euros for this set a good few years ago. So I think my money could have been spent. I've made 2 mistakes now. But yeah, that's just my opinion on the tools that I have, guys. Now, this is what I've been carving. So I've been trying a flower. So this was attempt number 1, using not very sharp tools. You can see it's not great. I have lots of breakout, tear out. Bits of the petals fell off. So that was my very, very first attempt at carving a flower. This was my second attempt, which is a marked improvement, I have to say. So I'm going to have a go at carving another one of these in this video. This particular wood that I'm using is lime wood, so very, very similar to basswood. It's European lime wood, so they're nearly identical species. So yeah, that's what most carvers use. Really tight grain, really easy to carve. You don't get a lot of breakout, which is good. So let's have a go at carving another one of these. Right, so like I said, I have some lime wood. I actually bought this a good few years ago. It's been in the shop for a while. This is what I was making the shoji lamp frames from. So it's really good for doing all that kind of work as well, that detailed kumiko work. Lime wood is fantastic for it. So yeah, I'm just cutting blocks out of this, carving a flower, cutting it in half. So I'm going to get 2 blanks out of 1 block, allow me to practice. So I'm going to use this whole piece of timber to do a bit of practice on. It's not overly expensive lime wood, so I don't mind using it as a bit of practice. So let's cut this. Okay, I have my blank. So I'm just going to lock that onto the bench, good and solid, so we can start marking this out and start carving. Okay, first thing to do is find the center. Now, just want to point out, this is not a how-to video. This is me just sharing the process that I'm going through with you guys, just in case any of you guys are curious. So don't take anything I do in this video as to be the right way to do things. This is just how I'm doing it, and I'm sure that there is some things that I'm doing wrong in this video. So again, if there's any wood carvers watching this, I would be happy for you guys to leave all advice down in the comments, because I'm sure there's lots that I'm going to get wrong in this video. So again, I just found the center. I drew roughly a 20mm circle, so that's 3/4 of an inch in the center here to first going to be the center of my flower, and then I'm just going to draw another circle roughly out to the edge so of this piece. Again, it's just a practice piece. Well, that would be the outer edge of my flower, he says as he drops the compass. There we go. Hopefully that's coming out on camera. Get you in a little bit closer there. Sometimes the camera really struggles with white kind of timber with white balance, so it kind of whites out so you can't really see anything. Now, I had a couple of coins there, so that's what I'm going to use for the petals. So I have a €1 coin here, which is roughly 20mm as well. I'm just going to keep that out to the edge of my circle and just draw in these circles, just have them touching each other the whole way around, and that'll just give me a starting point for my petals, and hopefully I should have the correct radius that I can fit all these in. Okay, there we go. Almost fits in perfectly. A little bit of an extra bit of a gap there, but we nearly got all them fitted in absolutely perfectly. Now, one thing I noticed as well, it's handy if you have some drawing skills for some of the more decorative patterns. You can use like a transfer paper to actually print out a pattern yourself and then transfer it onto the timber. That's probably the approach I will take, but yeah, having some art skills will help. Now, that's kind of all I need to start carving this flower. So without further ado, let's jump in and I will show you my brutal carving skills. Okay, I'm going to start with my V gouge or my V tool. This is a number 6. So yeah, a 45 degree, I think this one is. Don't quote me on that though. So I'm just going to give it a touch up on the strop. Very, very handy to have a strop for when you're using carving tools, because you have to keep them razor sharp. And it's a whole skill in itself, learning to sharpen all the tools that comes for carving, all the various gouges and V tools and veiners, and there's all sorts of stuff that I'm learning about. So again, I am no expert, but yeah, we'll try and keep a polished edge on this. Okay, let's have a go at carving a flower. Now this could go horribly wrong. Again, I'm no expert. This is just me practicing and sharing what I'm doing with you guys. So if it goes horribly wrong, it goes horribly wrong. But first thing I'm going to do is with the V tool is just line out my center of my flower. Just like that, and then I'm going to do the same around the edge. Just like that. Now I'm going to round over the center of the flower. Using the 20mm or 3/4 gouge. And again, I am no expert here, so like I say, this could go horribly wrong. Okay, there's the center of my flower established. Hopefully I didn't go too deep there. So I should be able to work in on the petals now. Now I'm going to try and outline them. Okay, I've changed that camera angle slightly there. My hand was getting in the way. I really need an overhead setup to try and capture this. It's a little bit hard. Now I'm going to start cutting in the petals into my center. So this is where having a really sharp gouge really pays off. You're looking for really clean, smooth cuts, which I may not get on every petal, but we shall see. I won't lie, I am feeling the extra added pressure of the camera. So I hope I don't mess it up. It's only a very simple flower, but in attempting to carve it, I have the utmost respect for wood carvers who carve those really ornate patterns. There's some incredibly talented people out there. Now I know it's years of dedication to and apprenticeship and developing those skills. Like, you're not just born with skills, you have to develop them. So I hope to be able to develop some sort of skill anyway, that I can add some decorative stuff to some of my projects. I'm not looking to become a master or anything, but it would be nice to be able to do it. I'm already getting a little bit of chip out there, so you really have to pay attention to grain direction and all that stuff. But it's a learning curve. Going to give the gouge a run on the strop. Let's make sure we keep that polished edge so we don't get any tear out. There's nothing more devastating than when you're getting to the end of it and you get a big chunk of tear out. I could only imagine if you're working on a really ornate piece, highly detailed, if you're getting to the end of it, it's like tightrope walking, you know. You could just knock a big chunk out of it. And you would be in tears, or egg queena, as we'd say in Irish. You would be crying indeed. So I wonder what actual woodcarvers do when a mistake like that happens. I'm sure they have the skills to actually repair it. It's this bit here that I always struggle with, so I'm going with the grain now. And the danger is you can get under the grain and lift it up when you're cutting into it. Cutting across the grain is a lot easier. So what I found is if I come across the grain and then come back to this piece, at least I've taken out what's ahead of it, so you're not likely then to lift up a big chunk. But again, like I said, don't take advice from me, I'm just a pure beginner at this. Okay, so I have the petals more or less carved to where I'm happy with them, and I'm just going to line them out now with the V tool. So between each one, we're just going to give them a bit of definition. So straight cut down. One of the areas I always kind of struggle with is the transition. So with the transition between the end of the petals, I'm trying to get clean cuts. So just stop those wood fibres sticking up. Trying to get a nice clean line is quite difficult as well. Again, it comes down to the sharpness of the tools, I suppose. Okay, now that each petal is lined out, I'm just going to add a couple of detail lines into each one, just to make it look more like the lines you would see in a flower. Create a few shadow lines, a little bit of detail. He says like he knows what he's talking about, and I don't. Okay, there we go. Now the next thing to do is to take down our outside and try and relieve this flower from the block. This is where it could all go wrong, but hopefully it won't. Okay, I'm just going to try and take down the outside. Now I've been using my standard, kind of my Japanese chisels for doing a lot of this work. I don't have a really flat gouge, but I think I see some wood carvers using. But I'm just going to very carefully just work around the edges of this. Then my Japanese chisel is razor sharp. Just want to take down, just to relieve the flower from the background. Taking care not to snap off one of the petals. I have done that before. Again, it's just going into your existing cut lines that I used when I outlined the petal. Okay, now that I've relieved it and taken down the outside, my last job is just to round off the edge of the petals. So we're going to round them back the way, and hopefully we don't mess this up. This is where a 1 inch, get the camera, a 1 inch or a 25mm gouge would be better. We have to make do with what we have. I'm just carving out the center, just to give it a kind of a look of unfolding petals. But yeah, I'm not very good at this part, I will admit. Again, I don't have the right radius gouge to finish this off, so we'll have to do the best we can. Okay guys, there we go. That's my third attempt, and it's actually improved again. Now it's still not perfect. I still haven't got really clean transitions, so wood fibres, little small kind of wood fibres still showing they are not super clean transition between the centre and the petals. So that's something I have to work on, but it is an improvement. So compared to flower number 1, which was just more or less a disaster, flower number 2, that's my second attempt, was an improvement. And I think flower number 3 is looking better again. So definitely improving. That's all we can ask for, is that each attempt we get a little bit better. And again, it's all practice and a skill that you have to develop. A little bit of a mistake here on this petal as well. You can see it's shorter. I took a bit of a chunk out of it, so I had to redress it, and it ended up a little bit shorter. So little things like that. I'll get a drop of finish on it now and see if I can highlight the detail a little bit more so you guys can see it a bit better. Just to see, darken up the grain, we might be able to see the flower a bit better. But it'll also show up the flaws. I was under a bit of pressure carving this. Like I said, I'm a complete novice, and it felt like a bit of an exam with the camera turned on there. So I was hoping, just don't mess it up, so that I would have a bit of content to show you guys. These cloths are absolutely useless. Get something a bit better. And there we go. Attempt number 3 at carving a flower. Okay guys, so there we go. That's my 3rd attempt at carving a flower. I said I would share the process with you guys, doing a little bit of wood carving, trying to develop this as a skill. Share you, or just show you some of the new tools that I bought. Again, a little bit disappointed in those. I feel like I might have wasted some money that I didn't need to waste, and maybe I should have gone for a better set. So any advice in that regard, let me know in the comments. Any if you guys are into wood carving, where would you spend your money on tools? But yeah, not bad for my 3rd attempt. Again, it's not perfect. It's not something that I would add to a project. It's not quite to that level yet. So I still need to get a practiced hand at this, maybe get some better tools, get some sharper transitions between the detail, less wood fibers, cleaner cuts, little things like that. But it would be a nice little flower to add to a top of a box, to a project, maybe some decorative details into some of the lamps that I make, and that's kind of the idea. That's what I'm hoping to do with it. So as always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it and you found it entertaining, at least, if not maybe a little bit even informative. And as always, if you like the video guys, give it a thumbs up, comments, questions below. I'll try to respond to everybody if I can. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. So until the next one guys, I'm going to continue practicing my carving, and hopefully in the next carving video I will have something even better to show you guys. So until then, take care. I'll see you in the next one.